everyone. Oh my God, snowed in the tri-state. That's what's going on
13
with.
and a half inches of snow. That's the reason why I'm still bundled up. I just came from trying to clear my car and my driveway for the first time since it started. 13 and a half inches.
Mm, wow, wow.
Yeah. And I think that might be low because I think that just might be blown because when I went past and was on the other side of my car that's facing to the west on there, it was up to my knee. And I know that's a drift, so it might be. I would not hesitate to say at my house in the middle of literally in the middle of the 275 loop, we got 15 inches of snow,
Good
and it was
Lord.
from 5 p.m. That's the crazy part. It was 5 p.m. on Saturday when it started. That's from 5 to 5 in a 24-hour span.
Yeah.
That's insane. But hey, it's Cincinnati. You know how it'll be. We'll be in a frigid cold for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then we'll be in the 80s, and everybody will be sick.
Yep. But all right, so let's go ahead. Let's do it. We got to talk about it. I know it was last Monday, but damn it, we still talking about it. That um, the Indiana Miami game. Wow.
That was that was a great game. It was I as much as I as much as the kid is just like, oh my God, the kid is your. If we want the perfect quarterback to come into the NFL and possibly become the new face of the NFL, how would we do it? Treat it like he's like one of the Powerpuff Girls. We sprinkle in a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and put this charisma in there, and voila, you get Fernando Mendoza. And and as much as you want to sit there and be like, oh my God, I can't stand him. When he made that run to give them the lead, I sat there and I said, you know what, that he might be the biggest nerd in the world, but I would run with him because he
trying
took some hits.
trying to
He
tell you.
that
Hmm.
boy is that boy. And here's the sad part about it. I don't think the Raiders is going to mess it up because they got one person that I don't think that would let them mess this up.
Who?
Tom Brady.
Mm, I don't know.
With him had been, I know
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think Brady would let because even with it because you heard the news today.
Mm-mm.
The passing coordinator and bona fide quarterback
I got you.
guru,
Hmm.
um, Davis Weiss, or I think it's that's I think that's what his name is. I have to look that up real quick. That was with Denver
Uh-huh.
is got interviewed directly after the game, like first thing this morning for the head coach's job at Oakland. I mean, not Oakland, Las Vegas.
Hmm.
So they're trying to get the bona fide quarterback whisperer to be the head coach, which I would rather see him go there and have and possibly have a chance. I would still give it 15 to 20%, but from everybody else that he could possibly go to, everybody else, and you want to know what's the crazy part? Everybody that's in the top part of the draft has not picked their coach yet
Hmm.
because nobody wants. We'll get to that one in a second, but back to the game because I'm about
Yeah.
to go down a rabbit hole because that rabbit hole is gonna be interesting. But um, Miami is back. Miami had a couple of plays to where they just got in their own way,
Hmm.
but for the most part, that was probably as good of a championship game. And I sent it to you guys when the ratings came out. The times of you have to have a blue blood to have a standard bearing national championship game are over. That game right there to be the second highest rated national championship game in BCS history.
Well,
That shows the where that shows one, their fan bases are was tuned into it, and it shows that there's other fan bases other than the basic blue bloods. And then two, the casual fan was interested in it more than seeing the normal blue bloods in it all the dang on time.
well, yeah. I mean, so seeing that it was all new faces, seeing that there was people involved in it that could identify with it, which is another thing that they say is what will have people like dialed into that. It's like it's like the whole thing right now with social media and when I was in school with you being one of my teachers and everybody like that, y'all were teaching us how you got to find like who are you trying to target, which in this situation they're not doing it exactly that way, but that's just how it's working out
Hmm.
because there are a lot of people Indiana, you could say throughout the country, especially that are like him and that are cheerful and believe in God and they're always expressing, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for this, and thank you, Jesus, for that, and thank you, Jesus, for the good times and the bad times. And because if it wasn't for the good times, I wouldn't know how awesome it is having you as my savior and stuff like that, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So you get him on camera and he throwing that out. And there was some other quarterbacks and players throwing that out. So now you got a whole nother like, hey, all the Christians like, what? What was that? Thank you, Jesus. Hey, he's like me. And they're literally watching the game, living through them as well as enjoying the game, and they're pulling for him like, come on, Mendoza, come on,
Hmm.
Jesus, and then you got the people that like the underdog, and you like the betting, so you dialed in like, come on, Miami, come on, Mendoza, it, it- you
It's
know,
like it was and you want to know what the other part that was great about that whole thing? We
what's
didn't
up?
have to see Michael Irvin beat on the daggone drum anymore. Just
I'm not, you know what?
okay.
No, bro, I would have been all about it. I would have been all about it. I probably would have been on the floor. My stomach would have been hurting. But that was like the downside to Miami not winning because I told y'all last week, I kind of want to see Michael Irvin just completely lose it for all of Miami. It just,
I think everybody would have wanted to see it, but then it was like and then I think Miami showed what it was. They showed that they're there. Carson Beck also showed
can't put it on all on Beck,
he can't put it all on them.
which
And they
people
tried
knew that.
he should have known that. Cristobal should have known that because the balance that was there is what got them there in the first place. And if you don't have that balance for that throughout that whole game, then they would have never got to that point.
And
So,
you had three running backs and you used at least two per game
hmm.
leading up to that game. Texas A&M made it hard. Out of everybody that they played, Texas A&M made it hard, and y'all did it for 4 quarters, and and that was a lot of the reason why you beat them because you did it and they didn't. They started trying to put everything on their quarterback, even though their quarterback was literally running for his life every time they knew it was a pass.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
why
was
it was stupid.
So, to literally become that, it is what it is. Uh, all right. So gonna throw a curveball in here because obviously the college talk is obviously over. But have you been checking out any games lately? I checked out I had a chance seeing that we're snowed in. I had a chance to check out basketball games whether they were current or they were replays. Thank you, Peacock. Um uh
College,
yeah, college or NBA. I got to watch some of everything.
I got to watch, and I got to watch one game of each.
Hmm.
The player from BYU, that boy gonna be a
Oh,
problem.
I told you. I told you.
Oh my God.
I told you. When I watched that
I'm
game
trying to see, do they play
in
UC?
yeah, yeah,
Is it here?
let's check that out. Yeah, I told you when I watched that preseason game, I believe that they played North Carolina. I was like, Devonta gonna be a problem.
Oh my God.
He gonna be a problem in the tournament. And the way they play and they play within themselves and they make sure to include everybody
Oh,
and
they do.
and he still gets off. And he is
Oh, dude, they do.
when
March 3rd.
ooh, that's one of my ex's birthday.
So
Yeah,
that's even more of a reason to go.
yeah, that's the mother of my two youngest boys. That's her birthday. But no, I kind of wanna. I haven't been to a UC game.
Hold on. Let me find that calendar. Where the calendar? Instead of Tuesday? That is a Tuesday. Lord
Oh,
Jesus.
I may have
I,
to.
shoot. I might have to call off that day. We
Yeah,
might have to go to the game.
yeah,
I need to see
yeah,
him in person.
yeah, for sure.
Because that right there, mm-mm. No, no, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I definitely want to know how much those tickets are and if they're sold out yet.
son of a gun.
They're sold
No,
out.
I can make that work. No, no, I can make that work because that's the Tuesday into week 4 for 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 the students. Oh yeah, that's going
Oh,
down.
okay,
I'm, I'm,
okay.
I'm, that's going down. I don't care. They'll be out of there.
Oh God.
But I watched him,
Mhm.
and then I watched the Bulls Celtics game because
What did you think?
it was fitting. Damn, I might keep on going in and out the thing. All right, it was fitting, and Chi- Boston relies too much. Boston does not have a number 3 because you got to think about it. They relying on. They thought that the one oh sorry they thought the one guy was going to be the number 3 White. They thought White was going to be the number 3 behind Brown and Tatum, and with Tatum out, White was going to step up. White was horrible that game, and he's been horrible. So it made it to where, God darn it, I'm on my cell phone because I'm at home,
No, I
and
got you.
but um, yeah, White's not consistent enough, and it's they have no center play for real. So
Nah,
it made it
that
to
was the
where
downside to them getting rid of Porzingis.
yep. So it's just made it to where they've been susceptible to everything. So now it's shoot, Porzingis and Hartenstein. No, Hartenstein was with the Knicks, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
yeah, Hartenstein was with the Knicks.
The other person that the other
Horford and Porzingis.
yeah.
But that was a great game. They went back and forth that entire game for that one. I tuned in because my son's favorite player growing up was Derrick Rose,
Mm-hmm.
and I, I, when they first announced they was retiring his jersey,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, let me see if I can get tickets. Then I saw the price of the tickets,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, we're gonna have to get together and just watch it here
Right.
because it was outrageous. And then the snowstorm hit, so it was like go home. One caveat that I did not realize that I guess with the change from Turner to NBC,
Hmm.
YouTube lost their either YouTube lost or they didn't renew their rights to have NBA League Pass
Uh-huh.
on YouTube. So I'm scrambling because I know I have it. I know I have the yearly pass, but YouTube TV had it already embedded in there. So I'm thinking I can watch it on there. Couldn't watch it on there. Then I go over to Vizio. I have a Vizio TV in my area, in my den. So I'm like, okay, let me go to the apps. They don't offer the app for you to be able to watch it, which is weird. So I'm like, shoot, what do I do? Good old PlayStation comes in the clutch. Found that, found the app, logged into it, was able to stream the game, and been able and was able to go back in and watch the whole retirement ceremony
Hmm.
for it. So made it worthwhile. If Derrick Rose, I don't care what nobody says, and I'm glad that some of the pundits were saying it outright. If Derrick Rose would not have gotten hurt, then Cleveland would have probably had a little bit of tougher run during that early part when he was there. Cleveland and Miami would have probably had up a little bit tougher runs to doing that with the way that they were playing and the way that team was playing together before he started having the injuries.
But and I get that. Do you think that he would have been the number three scorer in the world? Because somebody else, I can't remember. I thought I put it in the chat, but somebody put that out there.
He would have been top. I wouldn't say number three. I would have said top. I would say top 10 because the way that he was scoring at that point. But the other part that I think was crazy about it as well was I'm glad that he gave Tibbs his flowers because he told he told them he wouldn't have turned into the player that he wouldn't have he became if it wasn't for Tibbs' belief in him for it. And I'm glad that Tibbs had the opportunity to be out there on that court for him because for as much as Tibbs takes all the brunt of everything because of the way his style, his old school style of coaching and his old school style of playing his players and everything with it. And even I ain't got on know about the load management for it. Look at what the Knicks is doing right now without him. They went with a player friendly coach instead of somebody that was pushing them, and they're barely over 500. And they just came off of a losing streak. It's not
And
been the same. And they holding player only holding player only meetings. We know that you know how that goes.
and you do understand that has happened so many times. That's happened so many times. It happens more often than people are willing to admit.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, just like that whole situation in Philly um with AJ and Devontae.
Yeah.
You can have a point, but that don't mean that whatever you think it should happen necessarily. Um, you throw a change in. If you throw a change in that may cause everything to go wrong, that may cause everything to go wrong. Because I told you, I don't know if you remember, but as soon as they expressed that they had fired him, and when they expressed who they hired, I looked up like, yeah, it ain't gonna help nothing. Because
Right.
your problem is within the players. How do I know? I've been watching basketball for years. I know how this situation goes. When the coach gets blamed, even if the coach even if changing with the coach was the right move, that wasn't the only change that needed to be made.
No. And
So
and they still keep on refusing. They keep on refusing to make the changes that they need to. Because shoot, they were just talking about uh, what
But
was it?
the main change to me, the main change that they need to make, cat.
And they came out and said they wasn't trading them.
Exactly. And
And
that unfortunately might be what they need to do with Randall. I like Randall. I told you how much I like Randall.
hmm
If I pick the Lakers, he's staying on my team. He's staying on my team. I like him that much. I always keep it. I've always liked it.
but
Um,
but
but
the other part with the NBA, because I know the trade deadline is coming up next week. None of the teams, for all the different trade things that you keep on hearing, you hear it for you hear it about Giannis, you heard it about Kaminga, and I said it in the group. For all the different things that they're saying for it, I think this might be the most boring mm, trade deadline that you're going to have because I don't think there's going to be any move. I don't think nobody's getting traded. I don't think nobody's moving because it's not even a point now to where for anybody that's getting added, nobody's going to make the move because nobody wants to make do anything sensational right now. But
and,
everybody needs something.
and it's for people that's gonna cost a lot of money.
But you knew that because this is the risk reward to signing those multi-million-dollar deals with these players. No, no, they're not building around them. You got
Well, go ahead. My
Giannis
bad.
should have left. Yeah, Giannis should have left. Giannis should
He
have been gone. But Giannis is
he
loyal to a fault.
and he's loyal to a fault, but even now, I'm sure that he's literally at war with himself.
No, he is.
And where he knows that, okay, this ain't it. I need to leave.
But I keep on saying that I'm not going nowhere. So it's gonna make it hard. It's gonna make me the villain if I choose to pop up and say I'm ready to go.
But he don't want to leave.
Right. But so here's the thing.
I think that's the part of it. I think that's the other side of it. He really actually legitimately he wants to be one of those players that everybody says I stuck with my team.
That's fine. That's
And
fine.
but in terms of winning, he know that ain't it. So the part of him that wants to win is like, bro, you need to get up out of there right now. So he's literally at war with himself, a whole civil war in his brain.
And
And
this is where his brothers should come out and tell him it's okay. It's okay. You got your family with you on the team. The only reason why they're on the team is because of you.
and that's probably part of the problem too.
But if that's a, but ooh, excuse me. But if they're under contract, it is what it is.
Right.
And it's not like they haven't played elsewhere throughout their career anyway. So it's not they just so happen it seems like because Milwaukee knew that they weren't gonna be any good, they acquiesced and said, all right, we're gonna keep one of your brothers or even two of your brothers with you the whole time.
Which is taking up two roster spots, kind of like the and that's another
It's
thing
blind shit.
that's another thing I'm surprised at.
Right.
And that's where I could see why people feel like when people go at Bronny is hate, and they have a point. This man got two whole roster spots taken up, and don't nobody say nothing about it.
No.
That's when it becomes hate. That's when it becomes clear hate that every time you turn around, you talking about this man, you talking about this man, you talking about this man. Stuff like that is where it opens up the door to people. people calling, people going at Bronny, even if they are saying 100% legit stuff, it will get ignored because people know that there's other situations that should also be getting called out. That don't make no sense. I don't care how much I want a player. If I got two people on my roster that ain't helping my team win, me and my star got to sit down and have a conversation because we got a problem. I I I will like I'll let them come there that first year. I see how they work out. I'll try to give them the whole year to give them an honest chance to see if I could work with them. If I can't work with them, okay, Mr. Starman, I love you to death. I know. Can I put them in another position somewhere in the company? Hell, I'll make up one. I need
Right.
I need the bench open to two more players that's gonna help us win. And that probably is another reason why everything didn't work out with Dame being there because they didn't quite have enough because at least the one brother was there even when Dame was there. So
Yeah.
so you had Middleton that couldn't stay healthy and y'all wouldn't get rid of him. That would have opened up a spot. Find something for him to do. Like, hey, dude, we'll put you in the crowd holding up a sign. We'll pay you this. We'll pay you. We'll give you $1 million check. I don't know, but I need your spot open because I need to get somebody else in here so that Dame and Giannis could have won one together.
Yeah. But they're not thinking about that. They were thinking about keeping that's been the crux of a couple of our arguments that we've had with some of the firings in the NFL, with some of the main movements that's been in the NBA has been I've been trying to keep my star happy instead of make the bottom line of winning championships.
Mhm.
And you can't do both all the time.
And the teams that have been willing that have been willing to set that standard on the stars and everybody else on the team, they either get into the championship or they get in there and they win it.
Yep. And that's what makes it to where that's what makes them the good competitors versus the bad because you can't sit there when between the situation with Bronny. Okay, situation with Bronny that got a whole different light shedded on it with that article that ESPN had last week because because now it really comes out to the fact of it was a favor. It wasn't for anything else.
Well, we knew that.
Right,
It, like I didn't even watch all of Bronny's games, and I knew that.
right. But to see it come out on paper saying like, yeah, it was a favor. They shouldn't have. They didn't want to do it, and then they felt a certain kind of way because they felt like he was like, well, you had no, you had to do it because it's me. And now they've been trying. You've heard everything under the sun from Rich Paul and the rest of LeBron's camp, and then you've heard some of the camp from Jenny Buff coming around saying it really wasn't like that and everything. Nah, it's if too many people all are saying the same story, that's the story.
You watching him play. You come on, you watch him play, you know why he there. Just like in Milwaukee, and sometimes you get a little extra spicy with it when you would bring up his brother, and you're not wrong. You're
No,
not wrong. He ain't it. Why is he on the
no,
team? Giannis's Giannis's brother is not it, and so why is he there? It's got to be because of Giannis. Because it's not because of how he plays. Because he don't even play as
no,
good as the least talented player that comes off the bench.
no,
Well, that's not good. And Bronny, for all the talent that he has, the way his mindset, which we've talked about it, and that's why I be so critical about people in their mindset because it bleeds into everything. It literally bleeds into everything. LeBron tried to warn everybody when he first got to the league. You can't judge him like you judge me because he laid back and he don't care what you think, which means however he wants to play, however he is, it's gonna be okay with him.
And that's the sad part. If it's okay with you, then that's fine. But it needs to be okay with you that he's not with you.
No, 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 no. That's Bronny's mindset. What
Right.
he meant by that was you could say whatever you want to say about him. Bronny ain't gonna care because it's gonna be like that situation where sometimes with your older kids, you can literally tell them what they doing wrong, and they'll look at it as, oh, it's not a big deal. I'll correct it if I see it as a problem. But what if he don't see it as a problem?
He never has.
Right. It's like you could judge me like my dad all you want. I am Bronny and I'm gonna play how I want to play. Whatever mistakes I make, they're gonna be my mistakes, and it is what it is. And that's it.
And it's just
So
it messes up the whole dynamic of what these teams could be for being loyal to that star player. Because I really think the Lakers want to get rid of him. I think it's there. I think the time is there. But it just so happens. But how do you trade the God?
how do you trade the God and not hear any backlash?
Right.
Because for every five people, 5 to 10 people that's gonna be for it, there's gonna be 10 to 15, possibly, maybe
That's
even
gonna sit
20.
up there and be like, oh my God, no, you
Y'all
don't trade
racist.
LeBron.
Yeah. Oh, y'all being racist. Oh, they'll find some reason up under the sun to make this an issue other than the fact that we brought him here. We wanted to mimic what he did in Miami.
We got one. Thank God we got one.
Right.
But it doesn't but
And that's it. That's all
that's
you're gonna
it.
get.
But
And
it
and
is is
I really feel like he's holding back. You know what? I'm gonna open up this to somebody else, and I feel kind of bad doing it, but it needs to be talked about mainly because of the thing that people have started to notice about him. Is it time for the Warriors to walk away from Steph?
no,
You
no.
sure?
I'm positive.
And the reason why I ask that is this: if you have a star player that you have to pick older players to bring around because none of the younger players you drafted can seem to be able to play with your star player.
Did you see the report that came out to where the players that he recommended to them to the front office in order to bring in that was viable free agents and or trade subjects, they rejected.
Okay, and
This this
just
is
out of
what
just out of curiosity, who was he
they
wanting
didn't
to bring
say
in?
that they didn't list the players. They said that there has
And
been
that's what
there
I need to know because like we've been talking about, you could bring in them players, but is he bringing in players that's gonna cost a lot of money?
but at this but that can't be the excuse because y'all just sat there and said that y'all was willing to go back into the luxury cap.
Yeah,
You
they
let
just
close
now
up.
said it. They just
Right.
now said it.
Because you realize that the players that you drafted, let's be real. And as a Warriors fan, I'm about to be bluntly honest. You have missed on every single one of your draft picks. You've
But
missed.
but true. But here's the question. It it's because it's come up that for whatever reason, these players seem to all have one thing in common. They look they worst when Steph's on the floor. Now
Okay, but
I
here's the
now
other
now
part.
now I get
I'll let you
I,
finish.
I'll get. I get that Steph is your cash cow. He's still like LeBron, he's still able to play, he's still able to produce. But that's an issue because he's supposed to be the leader of the team. He's supposed to be the best of the best. And if and and they have this thing about not wanting to call it out, or if
Mm-mm.
they do, they'll do like certain people who aren't around anymore, and they'll give it a nickname to where you know what they saying, but because of the nickname, it is harder to pinpoint what they actually trying to say. You know who I'm talking about. I really don't want to beat that horse because I don't want it to be misunderstood as, oh, I'm hating on this person, especially seeing
Mm.
that this person is not around anymore. But bottom line is stuff like that. That is very important. Your star, especially when you're trying to get younger, because everybody around you is getting younger, and that's part of the reason why y'all getting beat because y'all bringing in these older players. And while I understand they may not have been the ones he wanted, they may not have been the ones he wanted. The question is there had to, because remember, for the longest time they weren't willing to go over the cap. So that's why I want names, because if we have names to go along with this, then they would have had an idea of, then that would give you an idea of how much it was going to cost. And at the time, they just, like, how long ago did they say that they was willing to go back to going over the cap? Because for the longest time, last I checked, um, uh, uh, before they got Butler and the other people that they brought in, it was always, we'll bring in somebody, but we trying to stay up under the cap.
Okay. So here's the history with the Warriors. When they did not start talking about going under the cap until the season where they had to choose between Clay and Draymond came into play. That was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Everybody that's been in their draft that they have tried to develop since then that they've missed on was during the time frame when they were going over the cap. When they drafted Wiseman, when they drafted Kaminga, when they I forgot who the other person was that they drafted that they ended up cutting. He never even played with them because he was for overseas. When
Yeah,
they
and
came
it
down to when it came down to them doing what they were doing for when they were saying we were okay with the cap. We're okay with the cap. We're okay with the cap. You had pools burst onto the scene, and then the incident happened, and then Poole fell off. Other
mhm.
than that, nobody from the Warriors that they have drafted has developed
And
at
that
all.
was, and then that's when when the thing with Kaminga happened, nobody really said anything until Kaminga happened, because they started to notice when Steph wasn't on the floor, Kaminga looked great,
But here's the problem with that.
but
When
then
Steph,
he would
here's the
come back
thing with
on.
that. You can't. But here's the problem. When Steph was hurt and Kaminga was on the floor, Kaminga wasn't doing shit. That is why Kaminga is the big spoiled brat that's sitting up here trying to say that somebody's held him back. When you got to think about it, over the past 3 years,
Yeah,
Curry has not been there the whole time.
yeah,
So you done had your opportunities and you have wilted.
and
You
yeah,
have
and
not done anything.
he's too inconsistent. I will give
Right.
you that. Yes.
So then you turn around and what did you do? You went out there and you put yourself out there saying that you wanted to go free agency and everything else. And nobody in the league wanted to fuck with you.
Mm,
They left you staying out there. So then you resign, you come back. Okay, cool. You come back, you start doing it, and then you start playing that same thing that you was doing before. Your inconsistencies start coming out again. Yeah, it's real easy to point at Steph when it comes to that situation because you're always going to point at the top. But in that same time frame, with all the draft picks that the Lakers have had, none of them have panned out. They
Uh,
haven't.
no,
They have not.
yeah, yeah, but like we were talking about
But
like we were talking about at the beginning of the season, and I know you remember me saying it to you. I'm like, dude, they need to get rid of LeBron right now.
And I was saying that. But
They
here's but the other flip of that though is this. When you look at it, when those players, everybody that did not do anything with the Warriors during that time frame, when they moved on to a different team, have they done anything? No.
yeah, but where did they go
But they went to places to where you coming off the Warriors, and if you was talking all that, you should have been the top dog there. Wiseman rode the bench when he went to when he went to Detroit. Poole never has reclaimed that same player that he was before.
yeah,
Kaminga,
yeah,
if he goes
yeah,
somewhere else,
yeah. Poole was I think Poole did I think your boy did to him what the Patriots did to um Chad.
yeah,
And
he got humbled.
it was like it was like everything changed. The personality changed. That the attitude changed, and that somehow took away all the talent. And but yeah, but at the end of the day, there's still that problem of while there might be some details to it that are legit, which obviously Kaminga being inconsistent even when Steph was hurt, because I do remember that. Um, there, how are you gonna build a team and you're trying to get younger like everybody else, but for some odd reason, no younger players
Get rid of Draymond.
can play it can play with when they can't play with Steph. That's that's
Get
a
rid of Draymond.
that well I've been saying that for a while now.
Yeah,
They're not
that's
gonna do that.
your biggest thing is that here's the thing. Your biggest albatross is not Steph, because when Steph can sit out there and still get you 30, you tried to go with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is not they everybody banked on Jimmy Butler always being playoff Jimmy. He's never been playoff Jimmy during the regular season. It's only been in the playoffs. You got to make it to the playoffs for him to turn into that. And as he's gotten
Yeah,
older,
yeah,
he's not going to be there all the time.
but the problem with that was and I tried
And
to
you said that. You
and
said
I
that he did
tried to
not want to
say
be
that,
this number two.
and then all of a sudden he got on TV and he got in that interview like, man, I don't know what everybody talking about. But what you saw in Miami, I ain't trying to be that guy no more. And I got on the podcast and I was like, ding 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 ding. The couch
Yeah,
guy wins again. The couch guy wins
because
again.
because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, with him, I have Jimmy Butler is a solid number three option, maybe number four. So when you have Steph, you have no number two. That's why I'm sitting up there saying
And
you
that's
should have
why it's
been Butler.
important that everybody else on the floor be able to have some type of chemistry to where you can kind of make up for that, which it's hard. It's
When the
hard.
coaches basically said when Steph's out there, try to get Steph open so he can shoot.
Right. And
That
and
that's
and
and that's on
and
turf.
that's the other part of it. That very well could be the other part of it, that nobody's talking about, and I haven't talked about since them blowing that 3-1 lead against against LeBron. And so yeah, the question is okay, Steve, how are you coaching? What are you telling them? We know that as much as people want to blame before Phil Jackson got to Chicago, as much as he liked the coach that was there, the coach was a part of the problem, and there's video evidence to prove it. If you sitting up here running the offense and you hear the coach say, no matter what you do, you make sure the ball ends up in Jordan's hands. How is anybody? Of course, everybody else ain't crap. They ain't trying to be crap. Everything has to go to Jordan.
And
So
even with that, and even with that, I could see if I could see if Curry's assist numbers dropped.
Uh,
I can see if his rebounding dropped while he's been playing there, but they're up. They're up higher than when it was when when he was doing in the championships.
mhm.
So it's it's not him not distributing the ball. It's
Yeah,
the same
and
thing.
and he is
The same
starting to
art.
get some guys that are working because that dude
Yes,
Pachitsky, God,
he he's one of the only
I like
ones that they've
him.
drafted over the past couple of years that's actually worked.
And I would love to know how and okay, so according to what I'm seeing, if that could play a part in it, and we were talking about this when it came to Stroud. If you have somebody that you believe in, that they're more consistent than they are inconsistent, which compared to Kaminga, Pacheski is more consistent. Would that be a fair
Yeah,
assessment?
yeah,
And so to me, that might be the reason why him and Steph seem to work better than him and Kaminga. Because at the end
yeah.
of the day,
Because
it's a trust thing. Part of the
it's
issue
a
is a
trust
trust
thing.
thing.
And even in the game, and this is why the games have to be watched when Curry's on the bench
Hmm.
versus Curry's being playing because Pozinski runs the show when Curry's out.
Yeah,
So he
I
know
definitely like that dude. That dude's nice.
right. He runs the show with that. They flow with him running the show like that. They've been winning without Curry being in the lineup. That's why it's like the biggest two albatrosses that's on their team right now is Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Because when you put them three out there on the court at the same time, well, Jimmy was averaging what? Hold on, bringing it up. Go to Warriors. Come on, I'm signed in already. Go to my teams. Darn it. Do your job. Warriors, Pacific. No, I don't want pre-sale tickets, damn it. I want to see stats. Stop trying to give me stats. I mean,
The
stop trying
game,
to give me stuff.
the
Stop trying
game
to sell me
just
stuff.
started. What the hell?
I understand. Go there. All right. So, and the other part that people don't fail to realize is what the fuck is Al Horford doing? Oh, three. Sorry. There's three people that they need to get rid of. And I hate to say it like that. On top of Kaminga. Kaminga, Butler, Draymond, and Buddy Hield.
He's not consistent enough. Yeah, I could see that.
Buddy Hield. So right now, looking at their plays, right? Al Horford's only played in 27 games this season.
Hmm.
Posiz, Pozinski's played in 47. Heedle 40. Draymond 39. Jimmy Butler 38. Kaminga 20. Your top scorer out of that is Butler at 20 points a game. If you put Heedle, Draymond, and Kaminga out there, they're only giving you 12.1, 9, 13, 20. They're only giving you 28.5 points a game.
Because Hill considers himself a 3-point hitman, which I don't like those guys because the only thing they don't move around. Unless they are outside, they don't move around much.
He's
And
35% for 3-point land.
how much?
35%. Draymond's at 32.
And I get that, but it's okay to come inside the 3-point line, dude. Come inside the 3-point line and get
What?
a damn two. For
This,
cry.
but that's, but in their head, that's what they think they are. Here's the other reason why. I'm looking through at their stats now. If you got Heedle running the two, you got Draymond running the 4 or 5, you got Jimmy running the 3, you got Kaminga running a 2 or 3. Okay, there's no reason why Heedle and Draymond are averaging over 4 3-pointers, 3-point attempts a game. They're both, and then what is it? Their rebound totals. Heedle gives you 2.4. Draymond gives you 5.7. Jimmy gives you 5.6. and Kaminga gives you 5.9. So they rebounded. They're not Kaminga. Your leading passer out there is Draymond, which you would figure that.
Yeah, yeah.
So and then your steals, your turnovers, and your steals and your blocks, they're all averaging less than one. Some of them less than half.
Yeah.
So you're not giving anything to the squad at all. 25 points a game from three people. What are you going? What can you sit there and do? Your top scorer, get if Jimmy Butler and Curry are in there, they giving you 47.3 points a game.
Hmm.
So them two giving you 40. Three other players is only giving you another 20. Y'all barely in the top 10 of your scoring of your team. No. It's not when it comes down to that. I would if they somebody came at them with a package saying you give us Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, I would be packing their bags for them just because you knew that Jimmy Butler you just taking his contract and you gonna let him rehab because it wasn't the biggest crux of everything that went wrong with Golden State was when they had the choice to keep Clay or keep Draymond, they
Hmm.
kept Draymond
Hmm. And I
and it
kept and I said that the when the whole beef when we was talking about all that, especially when he got sent to Dallas, and I kept, even though when he got to Dallas he still wasn't right, which still
he's
probably had,
he's still not right.
he still was probably upset about the whole thing, not to mention whatever else is going on physically. And but at least this time he was willing to take a backup role. He's willing to take a backup role now, which is starting to help Dallas because he's willing to come off the bench. And now they're finding out they got some guys that need to work on their consistency, but
Hmm.
because I watched that game they had. I watched a couple of games between I watched like two, maybe three games over the past couple of weeks because of Peacock and I want to say ESPN. Um, but I definitely like what started to develop. I think AD needs to go. I don't care who they give him to. I don't care how they do it.
But they saying they ain't
They,
trading AD.
they need to get rid of him because
Nobody's, and that's why I'm getting pissed because nobody is getting rid of people that they know they need to get rid of.
well, because they for all intents and purposes, I can imagine I have an idea of why they don't want to get rid of him because the fans. So out
But
of
he's not
everybody,
playing.
I get that. But here's the problem. They're already they as long as Luca is doing what he's doing in LA, they have to figure out something with AD. And that sucks. And that sucks because, and that was the reason why Nico deserved to be fired because he did not make sure that he had the back of the team by making sure that wherever he made that trade, he could get a smart trade out of it.
Hmm.
AD was not a smart trade.
It was never a smart trade.
Right.
And that's
AD wasn't a smart trade, even if he had gotten the two first round picks because he had injury issues. The whole issue, and everybody knew from what was going on in LA that there was questions of if he had a listening issue about staying in shape and being dialed in, and you traded for that. You got rid of a dude that you said had that problem because you didn't want to have to pay him that 384 million. And then you bring in
hmm
another dude that had that same problem. No, no. The whole point of making a trade and getting somebody out the door is bringing somebody in that is going to give you better, even if it's not that much better, but that it'll end up equating for the team to come out better because y'all are winning.
right. And they failed on that.
And yes,
They
because
failed horribly on that.
AD keeps coming out. He keeps playing hard when he's out there, and then he's right back on the bench.
He's Mr. Glass. I
And
called him that. He's been Mr. Glass since he was with New Orleans. That's why it's never AD is if there's anything that needs an asterisk from the Lakers, it's AD's potential.
yeah,
Because if he was healthy, the sky was the limit for him. But the one thing that people fail to realize, and I hate it when I every time I heard it, I cringed. When everybody used to talk about the fact that that young man was 6'2", and in 1 year shot up to 6'7", 6'8", and kept growing in 1 year, his body, his body never matched up. It was not a steady progressional growth. It was a spurt. That's not a spurt. That's a freaking somebody put an air bubble in you and just went. And ever since then, even when he was with Kentucky, he had injuries. But the only reason why in Kentucky he was hidden behind there was because he had Cat. He had he had the other players that was on there with him with that squad that masked the fact that he was always laboring or hurt. Then he went down to New Orleans. You in New Orleans. Last time I checked, does anybody check for Zion? No. He went to New Orleans. Nobody he did his points, but you look at his record there. He was having his little injuries and stuff that was in there during that time frame. Then when he got traded, everybody was saying, "Oh, he's about to turn out to it." I was sitting there saying, "I don't know." He got to show me that he's durable. And the only season that he was durable was the season where they had a 3 month break.
as much as I hate to say it, this is gonna come off like me being a hater. I thank God for Zion. I thank God for Zion, and it's for selfish reasons, and I'm not gonna deny it. Because from the moment he was sitting there at Duke, and people, and my fandom, depending on the team, knows no bounds. So obviously,
Hmm.
Duke. When it comes to Duke, I'm a fan. From the moment I saw him, I said everybody was like, "Oh, he gonna be a beast in the NBA." I said, "No, he's not." And like,
I
yeah,
said
he
he
is.
wasn't.
Like, have you seen him play? I'm like, yeah, I seen him play, and that's the main reason I say what I'm saying. He's not. It's not gonna pan out. Oh man, you a hater. You don't know what you're talking about. I wish I could go back and find all the people. Like, you sure about that?
This dude, he's had more drama outside of he scored more buckets outside of the basketball court than he has on the court.
Buckets. See what you did there. Nice. Ah, all right.
It's
Uh,
it's just I don't know. It's I'm ready for this season to get to the playoffs. I'm not even looking forward to the All-Star game. Oh yeah, last one before we get away from this.
yeah.
We had a discussion about the snub that isn't. And I bit my tongue when we was talking about it, but facts is facts. And folks, if you're watching this, when you're watching this, I want y'all to understand this. There is no reason why LeBron James should be a starter on the NBA All-Star team this year. He hasn't played enough games. His stats has been okay, but there's been plenty of other teams, especially if you're paying attention to the West, that are better in this position than he is.
But the fast breaks. Do you see how he performs on them fast breakaways when people move out of his way? Did you see that, Jay?
To care less. Because here's the difference. If this would have been an NBA 20 years ago, he wouldn't have been doing that. And with some of the players that's out there now, they ain't scared of him going up against him. With him doing that, if
The
he
the
gets you, if he gets you, he gets you.
the the
But
the, the
they ain't acquiescing.
the past few games, they was at acquiescence. I was watching it. They were literally moving. Now and it wasn't for all the fast breaks he had. It wasn't that many, but like I would say out of the 20 times, there was like five. to 6 or 7 times that I saw people that was there. They could have presented the challenge. They just kind of jogged backwards out of the way. And it was for that reason that I told you about. If they know that they gonna get the foul call, they could potentially end up hurt. They are not challenging this man.
And I'm like, I'm at a point now to where the luster's off. It's not, and people were real quick to pop up and say, "Oh well, Jordan started his." Okay, and I ran through the story. If you did not know the story, Jordan was not voted to be the starter for the NBA All Star game during that game. He was not voted to that on his, but he had already announced that this was his final season. You had Allen Iverson and Penny Hardaway both saying, "No, you need to be starting. You need to be out there." No, him and McGrady. It was Iverson and McGrady. There's like, you need to be you need to start. You need to go ahead and start this. Jordan said no. Oh my God, the GOAT of that era said no. I don't want to. I don't want to be out there. It took until right before game time for Vince Carter to sit there and say, "I'm not coming out there to start. Somebody need to go take my place."
Yeah, that's what it took. Cause,
And
cause
said
he
Tar
tried to
Heel to
talk
Tar
him into
Heel.
it. Yeah, he tried to
Yeah,
talk him into it too. And Jordan was like, "Did y'all not?" I said no. Like, do y'all not know how to listen? It's like
right.
no.
And then he said no. He said Tar Heel, brother to brother, Tar Heel to Tar Heel. You need to go out there. And that's the only reason why Jordan went out there and started that last one. So you cannot compare your God to our GOAT, because your God is probably back there backdoor politicking for somebody to give up their spot for him to be able to start. Because Los, I need my record. I need to be able to say that I started another one in there for it again. Because he sure as hell hasn't said that came out and said he was okay with it. And now, if he doesn't get picked all the way, I wouldn't be mad.
All right. And with that, we are going to accurate. We're going to move to the NFL because we got a lot to talk about. And speaking of talking,
Uh,
um, speaking of talking, uh, Pro Bowl, Pro
I
Bowl,
saw that
Pro Bowl, Pro
bullshit.
Bowl.
I saw that bullshit. I
I
don't.
mean,
If you want to have a legitimate poster board of why the Pro Bowl does not matter anymore at all,
to
is that
me,
you will
go ahead. My bad.
sit there and you will actually sit there and say, "Hey, you know who deserves to be in the Pro Bowl? Let's give Shador and Cleveland a shot. You have just you have just titanium plated stamped the reason why nobody gives a fuck about the Pro Bowl no more at all. If that's the case, then Flacco should have went.
Oh God. Uh,
Phil
and
Rivers should have went.
you you want to know the funniest part about that is what somebody did online. They put his stats up with God, what was that quarterback's name? Please tell me I put it in the group. And I don't think I did. Dang it. Yeah, I don't see it because I saw it within the last couple hours and I didn't. Oh, daggone it. Um,
Dylan Gabriel?
no. No, 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 no. Older quarterback.
Phil Rivers?
No, 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 no. Older quarterback that played for Cleveland. Let me see if
Flacco.
no. No, 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 no. No, no, I'm sorry. When I say older quarterback, I mean he played like years ago older.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, uh, dang it. Let me see if I can find it. Cleveland the podcast. Yeah, I think it's here. Let me see. Scroll a little bit. on it. Report. Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl. Nope, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. Cleveland Fanatics. Let's see if it's on there. Oh God, this is gonna annoy me because I see the quarterback's face, but I can't remember. I can't remember his name. But they put his stats up, because he ended up in the Pro Bowl, and they put it against Shador's stats, and it was like it was clear that Shador shouldn't be in the
Browns Pro Bowl quarterbacks. I'm
and
looking this one up.
and even that quarterback, everybody was questioning how he got in. And I believe that he got in because it was after they did the move where they put the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl so that they could include more players. Which at the end of the day, that's why they did it. You can feed me whatever you would. They could feed me whatever. This was an inclusion thing, and
No, they wanted the star factor for them being at the Pro Bowl. That's all the hell that you can
yeah,
tell me. Derek
yeah.
Anderson.
Derek Anderson. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's him. Yes. Derek Anderson. That's exactly who they put. And they did a side by side. Oh God, it was so funny. It
Derek
was
Anderson's season. Hold on. His season with Cleveland. What year did he go to the Pro Bowl? That was
I don't
oh
remember Derek Anderson. Let me see. Let me see if I could find the meme.
oh 07. Wait. He was he the MVP? Oh, he was named most improved player.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. So 2007, that game, he had 15 starts out of 16 games played, threw for 3,787 yards, 29 touchdowns, 19 picks, three rushing touchdowns, two fumbles, uh, five, uh, two long fumbles, sacked 100, no, sacked 14 times, about to say 100, goddamn. Yep, 29-19. So then we go to Shedder.
He had 7 touchdowns. He had 10 interceptions. He averaged 175 yards a game and averaged just over 68% I
And
remember
this is
the
your
meme. I remember the meme. I just can't find it. Dang it.
and this is your king.
Yep. That's it, sir. Yep, that is it
That
right
is your
there.
king. That is your ay ay ay
Mm-hmm.
ay ay ay.
Yes,
I didn't know
sir.
my camera went off. Okay, so this is I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But it's the Pro Bowl. Is anybody gonna watch it next week? No.
I
No,
never.
no, it's during the week of the Super Bowl. It ain't even next weekend. I think it's like next Tuesday.
So they moved it.
Yeah, they made it a part of Super Bowl week now because they trying to get it to where, hey, if you're in town in Santa Clara, might as well go watch a whole bunch of people that didn't play the game, that didn't make it here, that we think is good enough. They did tell us, nah, we'll pass. That's what I told you. The All Pro selection means way more than the Pro Bowl selections to these players. They don't care about that.
And that's why I asked that question because I've been wanting to ask that question for a while. And because it's like sitting up there saying that somebody is was Pro Bowl selected, that hasn't meant anything since they moved it. It,
Right.
it it meant more when it
It
was
meant more
after.
when they was hitting.
It meant more when they were hitting. It meant more when it was after the when it was after the Super Bowl because all of the players, including the players that were in the Super Bowl, were in the Pro Bowl, which took up spots to where other players that did good, but their team didn't do much, that left them
Mm-hmm.
sitting at home watching. So they thought that moving it would give it more. It's like let's get a lot of these players that the fans really care about that aren't in the playoffs and or aren't in the Super Bowl. Let's move the Pro Bowl and make it where those players are in. And it's like, yeah, but you still got to get them to play. You still got to get them to play. You still got to get them to hit, and you still the players back in the day it mattered, and they made less money.
Mm-hmm.
They made less money, and the game mattered because it was also about their reputation, them representing the East, the West. They um
They wanted it to count. They
yeah.
played like it counted. That's why it's like I don't. Ain't no way. Is that? Bi- Did Bynum have a kid?
Nah, I'm not sure.
Oh, please don't tell me Bynum procreated. Lakers Bynum.
uh
Because there's a kid on Ohio State that looks just like him.
There's a kid playing basketball that there was a meme going around because it looked like Draymond.
Could be his kid. You never know. He was in Michigan. Ah, but yeah, so yeah, sorry.
So
Sidetrack,
no 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 no
flipping through.
no 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 no. You good? All right. So real quick, I want you to hear this, and I literally heard this before you jumped on. Um, this guy, his opinion of basically diminishing what the Patriots have done, which people are great at that. They are great at diminishing what somebody has done. And I want to get your take on it. This is from what was it? WFAN Sports Radio?
New York,
Possibly. Not
I
sure.
think that yeah, I think the fan is in New York.
Deck on it.
Mm.
Where's the
Damn sure ain't Boston because
The
they ain't gonna talk shit about him
easiest
in Boston.
road. The Patriots' road to the Super Bowl in the playoffs can you hear it? Was
Hmm.
hands down one of the easiest roads that any team has ever had to get to the Super Bowl. They didn't have to beat
Not
Patrick
lying.
Mahomes. They didn't have to beat Josh Allen. They didn't have to beat Lamar Jackson. First, they get Justin Herbert, who stinks come playoff time and couldn't complete a pass. Up next was CJ Stroud, who in the first half against the Pats had one of the worst halves of football that I've ever seen from a quarterback. And he basically gift wrapped the Patriots a pick six. And then in the championship game, the Pats get a backup quarterback and then weather conditions that made the game unplayable in the second half. So it got me thinking, where have I seen this before? Such a cupcake, easy, pushover, non-competitive, just roll out of bed and you're in the championship game. Where have I seen this before in sports? So I was racking my brain. I was like, I know I've seen it somewhere. Where have I seen it? And then it hit me. The run to the Super Bowl that the 2025 Patriots are having is exactly as easy and cupcake a run that the 2024 Yankees had to the World Series. It's the same. The Royals, Guardians, it was a joke. It was just an absolute nothing, no resistant, easy dream scenario for the Yankees that year. Not your W-2. Thoughts?
I want somebody. I legitimately want somebody that is that will sit there and say that somebody's road was easy to get to a Super Bowl, to strap up the pads, go out there and go play against that San Diego Chargers defense.
Yes,
Go play up against in that snow in Foxborough against that defense.
they had to play in
Go
snow twice.
go play in Denver against that defense. Because let's be honest, Denver gave New England that game.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for the right near turnover to give them the short field and them not kicking a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down, that game would have been a different outcome. So no, I don't want to hear somebody had an easy path. There is
played
no
two
easy
of
path.
played two of the toughest defenses in the entire league, and they are basically essentially in the middle of a rebuild. And oh yeah, say what you want about the offensive line and Justin Herbert. San Diego's defense isn't exactly one that you want to wake up and go, out of all the defenses in the league, I want to face San Diego's. No, that's not you're not saying that. Um you're not saying that. That's not a thing. So to me, that is a big reason why I don't like what he said. That I think that what he said was horse pucky on uh, on a shingle. And yeah, no. Um Now, do I think that circumstances made it a little easier? I will grant him that, yes, because the offensive line for San Diego, that was a huge part of the reason why Justin Herbert wasn't playing that great. And as we saw from what happens when you put a quarterback behind a good line, which mm, uh, I hate to jump games, but Sam Darnold. This time last year, the offensive line, as it got close to the playoffs, went down. And we now see what he can be like when he's somewhere that has confidence in him and somewhere where the line stays consistent all season. He is now in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He
And
is
they
now he is now in the Super Bowl. All the talk about, and it was funny because Speakeasy, Acho tried to put it out there like, does everybody owe Sam Darnold an apology? If you owe him an apology at all, it's for believing he would never be anything. Everybody does owe him that apology. And the reason why I exclude myself from it is because I always stood on my throne of get him get him behind the offense a better offensive line than what he had in the Jets and in Carolina, and then we'll talk.
hmm
And as soon as you did it in Minnesota, you saw that he was better. Then he went from Minnesota's line to Seattle's line that they were able to keep steady and steady and firm all season. They didn't buckle down towards week 16, 17, and 18. And in the
Mm-mm.
first week of the playoffs, they stayed strong all the way through. And what do you know?
hmm
Sam's in the Super Bowl.
And Sam looked damn good last night.
Yes, he did.
He
And
looked damn good last night. And
and
that's another game to where it's not that game showed you what I was saying on the episode last week. Whoever wins the NFC wins the Super Bowl. because I don't see, I see New England's defense being a little bit tougher, but I don't see New England's offense being able to handle Seattle's defense. And Seattle's defense was flying. Seattle's defense, the only reason why Seattle's defense looked as bad as they did was right, wrong, or indifferent. The Rams offense is still nasty. The only thing that they forgot to do I don't understand why they didn't do it, and this goes back to the one of your tested, tried, and true things that you always say. Why didn't you run the ball?
Why didn't you run the ball? Why didn't you take the points?
Yes, and take the points. Those are the main two. Because and that really hurts them when you think about it because of how much that game flipped. That game could have flipped off of the game had two major flips. The muff punt that they took the next way they went in, scored the touchdown,
Which they
and
deserve to
then
lose. They
yeah,
deserve to lose because of that. I'm sorry.
yeah, they deserved to lose because of that. But then Seattle almost gave it back to them on the silver platter with Reek Woolen being an idiot and sitting up there and taunting on the 3rd and 12 and getting a 15-yard penalty. And I'm sorry, Sean McVay is always going to be, even though they cost my Bengals a chance at the Super Bowl. Uh-oh, what happened? What happened?
Sad part is I believe he said it. It's
What?
it.
Who?
I hope the guy he didn't say this. I gotta look this up.
Who?
Sorry. Draymond. Is it true that this dude said, with all due respect to MJ, Derrick Rose meant more to Chicago than Jordan?
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk about that later. Let's stick with what we talking about,
Uh,
and we'll throw
long
that in
story
at the
short,
end.
long story short, just because I'm not going to even give him the time of day when it comes to it. Long story short, the reason why he said that was because Derrick Rose was from Southside Chicago, was raised in Southside Chicago, came back and put the team on his back. He basically made it seem like because he was Chicago through and through, it meant more to Chicago with how he played when he was there than Jordan coming there and making the Bulls who they are, which makes it an empty point because the Bulls would not have been in the reverence of what they were, and on the downslide because of their ownership's decisions that they made, to where when he came into the league, he was the savior of Chicago, coming from Memphis, hailing from Simeon High School in Southside Chicago, to become the star that he did. And even with that being said, he never got to the heights that Jordan did besides getting the MVP. So that right there should make it to where you're thinking, and he's thinking about it for a cultural standpoint, but not a factual sports standpoint. And that's enough about Draymond Shitty.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
back
Fair
to
enough.
back to football.
Yeah.
So when Woolen did that play, and I'm sitting here watching the game, I'm like, are you really, is it really that serious? But there's one thing that I'm proud of. And that's one thing that gave me that raised my respect level to Seattle even more with that. The same reaction I would have had on the sideline after that sequence of plays was the same reaction that everybody on that defense over there on that sideline had towards him when he came off of there after that set of plays was over with. They let his ass have it. What was you thinking? You can read it on their lips. What the fuck was you thinking? Why would you do something like that? What was you doing? They're holding their teammates accountable. Instead of letting them go sit off to the side and be able to like, shit, it's all right. I'm still me. I'm still get whatever I need to off of there. Instead of doing all that, They sat there and turned around and they was in his grill and he was pissed.
Hmm.
But he came back, he played strong the rest of that game for that. And he apologized for what he did on that. Because yes, in the heat of the moment you will say and do things, but in the heat of the moment you should also know I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt my team. And you hurt your team by giving them another play, and that very next play, Sean McVay and his cutthroat ways said, "Hey, Luka, in and up on the sideline, go right after him." And Woolen was so turned around when the ball got thrown, he didn't know what to do. So it made it to where
He threw it too
that
quick.
game, huh?
He threw it too quick, unfortunately, because by the time the tight end turned his head, the defender had already turned his head and knew the ball was coming.
You talking about the one where the on the last play in the back
Yeah,
of the end zone?
yeah.
Yeah, he threw that too quick. He got happy feet on that 4th and 4.
Because he knew he knew he wasn't going to try to run it. He was scared to try to run it again. Which, seeing that he had running lanes, I don't know why he was scared to run it again. That's what he should have did.
That's not that's what Stafford only
Right.
runs when he absolutely positively has to. He doesn't. This is not Stafford from I
And
mean, for Detroit that used to be able to take off a little bit and give you a few yards. You don't want to get hit no more.
yeah, yeah, but even then in Detroit, he was taking too many hits. That's why he got the moniker of he don't run. He already getting hit enough. What he gonna run to get himself self hit more for? It just
Exactly.
so 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 yeah, but but to me, I watched that play and seeing that even though my level isn't that high on how far I played, again, like me and you have talked about, there are certain
Mhm.
things you are taught. If you are not sure how that ball is about to come to you, get out the way. If you sitting up here, you go a yard or two back, okay. But if you going back 2, 3, 4, 5 yards, maybe more, and you still can't gauge it, you still aren't sure, run. Run in the opposite direction of that ball. Do not let that ball touch you. I sat there and they kept showing that replay, and every time they showed it, I kept looking. I'm like, why the hell didn't he just run for the hills? You're taught that between middle school and high school. That was my frame. I played more of special teams in high school. They preached it. You did not want to go to the sideline if you didn't listen.
Mm-mm.
Just it's like you see it in the air. If you unsure,
If you don't know, if you can't judge it, you let it go. They you let you what you call hot, you call fire, you call whatever you call for it, and then you run away from it. You do not go try to make try to make the hero catch, and that's what that was. He tried to make the hero catch, and that hero catch made him fall back and just drop that ball right into the lap of him. And I'm sitting there like, oh my god.
yeah,
But as soon as it happened, you turned around. You was like, all right, well, then it's about to be on the cracker. See what they finish it up with. So it made it to where the Rams. The questions in the offseason for the Rams is I don't know how long the Devontae. I didn't know Devontae led the league in touchdowns. I was shocked.
yeah.
So
They have been talking about it past couple of weeks. It
yeah,
shocked me too.
Devontae led the league in touchdowns. So you got Devontae and Puka, okay? And Devontae, if there's one thing that hurt me about the game is that man is 0-5 in AF in championship games.
Somebody posted that last night.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, he deserves to get to one. And maybe that's what brings him back. The Rams can run it back next year and won't nobody. The one thing that I would want for them to do is I would want for them to sit there and say, I want to have quorum and Williams as a definite two-headed monster running. And own up to let's run the ball to pull them in and let Puka and them go over the top. Because what they saw happen to them yesterday, because let's call a spade a spade. Kevin Walker the third has always been that running back that you saw. It was just that his fumbling issues made it to where they trusted Charbonnet in short yardage and goal line situations. But the catches out of the backfield, he looked like Michigan State KW3 in that game yesterday, in that first drive. But and then at the end of the game when they relied on him for it. If you can do that and you can draw that defense in and draw them up and then go over the top with your weapons,
When he started catching the ball out of the backfield, that hurt some things too.
mm-hmm,
So because that made it, and then like we always talk about, all the players that are present gotta buy in. If you don't know who they gonna go to, because everybody can catch the ball, and he is actually, and Darnold is, and the line is giving Darnold time to take advantage of that, because
yep,
the Rams had the right play, which is why I brought it up to you in terms of play calling when you're going against a fast defense. If you get that ball out of there in 1 second, and the play and the plays and the routes make it where that is so, even if you are throwing to the running back that's only like 3-4 yards away, the check down, bottom line, you're getting that ball out one little 2 seconds, maybe a little over, not much over, definitely not enough time for a line like that to get to you, which the only chance that the Patriots have is they're going to have to mimic that. They're going to have to see what happened in that game, what worked. They're have to be a stickler about special teams, and that they have a chance. It's going to be extremely hard, and it's going to be dependent on how fast can May get that ball out of his hands so that front four or the front seven can't get to him. Because if
mm-hmm.
they waste a whole game trying to get to him, they're gonna be tired by the fourth quarter. And they gotta stick with the run game. Even if by the fourth quarter he only got like 60 yards. You gotta keep them thinking they could run at any time. They could run it at any time. That's gonna be another thing that's gonna help you have a chance to win that game. Because as it's looking, they have receivers now, along with Njigba, that,
And Jigba is a beast. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah,
That
which
boy.
which was funny because between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, people wasn't giving them they flowers,
Mm-mm.
and which was a shame, because it's like, are y'all watching the game? Are y'all watching the same game I'm watching? Amon-Ra St. Brown is a problem, and
Oh
Njigba,
yeah.
Jackson and Jigba is a problem. And
Yeah.
but they had to open it up because they had to get people like Barner and them to catch the ball. Y'all got to catch the ball too. That will open him up. They can't double and triple and Jigba if the other receivers on if the other receivers, whether they're tight end or wide receivers, can catch the ball. You got to catch the ball when the ball's thrown to you. So, and that's why I'm always on that. That's why I'm always up on that hill. Like, this is what it is. And then I got a question.
Go ahead.
How is it that two teams that play in open domes, the snow hit, and neither one of them could move the ball? That was hilarious when the snow hit, and I kept noticing that neither one of them could move the ball. And I'm looking at the time. while I was doing my wrestling podcast, and I kept looking over at my phone and looking at the time, noticing it was still 10-7, noticing the ball wasn't really moving, noticing that they was doing a lot of three and out. Maybe they moved the ball a little bit back to three and out. The other team had the ball, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is about to be we about to have a baseball score ending to
Yeah,
the AFC Championship.
yeah.
That was hilarious.
I sat there and as soon as it started snowing, I said, "Oh shit, this ain't good." Because neither one of them could run the ball. That was the other part. So it was like you can't throw it and you can't run it.
Oh God, that was that was
What are y'all gonna do?
and that was another thing that made the comment of what we just listened to kind of stupid. It's like uh not only did they have to battle those defenses, they had two games where they had to battle the snow.
Hmm.
So they had to battle the elements. But you call it a cakewalk? Like you said, okay, all right, let's see you get out here and do it. Well, I'm not a player. Okay, then I need you to put a little bit of respect on that
Respect
situation.
on put a whole lot of respect on that situation
Yeah,
because you can't sit there. You cannot sit there and turn around and say the things that you say. And too many pundits go out there and they'll start throwing it out there saying, "Oh, well, I don't believe that this should be this and this should be going on or this team should be doing this and everything else." I believe that I don't care what you believe. The only people that I can sit there and I honestly, whenever they're talking, I give them a little bit of grain of salt is the players that I actually been out there. And Adam Schefter. Everybody else, nah. Because you're going on the hypotheticals of what you would do if you were able to be digitalized and placed in Madden.
right. And that's why I always, no matter what I say about anything, I always try to put the fact that I understand. I may not have as much experience as a lot of those players, but I do understand from a thinking standpoint, just like with the quarterback, like me and you have talked about on many episodes. So let's get this straight. The ball goes hike, and this man, not only did he need to be looking at the defense to see what it was in beforehand while he's trying to hike the ball, but once he hikes the ball, he has less than 2 seconds to look at least 3 to 4 receivers. The average is about 2 seconds. He has about 2 seconds to figure out where he's throwing the ball to so that he doesn't end up with a negative play.
Mhm.
That's no. You and that's why trust is so important because if you're not worried about your line, you can focus more downfield and who you want to go to and going through your projections in the allotted time.
Yeah,
That is, I don't need to be out there. I can literally look at it, and I've spent so many years looking at it to know, okay, well, I know I'm not out there with him right now, but that, yeah, no, no, that don't, no, mm, no, that's not easy. That's not
no,
easy, and I need to make sure that when I'm speaking on it, I need to make sure that that comes out that I am aware of that. That's why I thought what Dude said was a joke. It's like, okay, you saying this for clicks because it does not
that's all
make
they doing.
sense. It
That's
does not.
all.
Yeah,
That one of the things. One of the things that I was talking about in class last week was talking about ratings and terrestrial radio. So AM, FM radio, and how the numbers and the market shares have dropped with streaming services, podcast services, satellite radio, things of that nature with it. But even with satellite radio, you can lump it over towards that. All of them need the same thing. They need something that's going to draw advertisers' attention to want to buy slots in their show. And where facts and stats used to rule the world, now it's opinions and hyperbole. And that's what the crazy part about this is, and that's why I love what we do, because we can throw out all the hyperbole that we want to, but we're going to come back with some facts in order to back it up. We're going to do the research in order to back it up. You got somebody that's at WFAN, and I want to make sure I'm reading that right, because WFAN is there's a WFAN in New York and there's one in Green Bay. And I know it wasn't in Green Bay. So if you're gonna come out and you're gonna say you're gonna come out and say this that like, oh, their track record, their road to the playoffs. Let's talk about your New York team's road to the playoffs. That's right, they did make it. At least Boston and New England is giving you something to talk about in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And and
You
and
don't.
I and I even see where he was trying to go with it because there are times where I do take that road, but make sure that in taking that road, you're paying attention to all of the important details that happen
Yes.
within that situation. Do not disrespect. Do not disrespect the Texans defense. Do not disrespect the
How you gonna
defense.
disrespect the Texas defense that they was just talking about was one of the greatest ever if their quarterback wouldn't have laid an egg?
Yeah, you got he plays. Matter of fact, now I want to look at it. We know where Denver and the Texans was, but where can I look and find where
NFL.com.
okay, NFL.com. I want to know what uh um God, the team Chargers. I want to know what their defense was ranked.
Hold on. I'm in there now. NFL.com. Oh, they already added 2026 in there. Jesus Christ. Where is it at? It's not in here. They don't do a full one. They do passing, rushing. This is not how you want it to. God. Advanced stats. NFL defensive rankers 2025. Cleveland was three. Houston was one. Denver was two. Minnesota was three.
Which is crazy seeing that they didn't even make the playoffs. But while you're looking at that, I am going to play.
Chargers fifth.
Yeah.
Texans
So
one. Broncos two. Vikings three. Browns four. Chargers five. Seahawks six. Bills seven. Patriots eight. Saints nine. Chiefs 10.
so their defense was ranked eighth, and they played three of the top five defenses in the
So they beat the
entire
Texans.
league, but they had a cupcake. And even if I get that they didn't have to play, I get what he's saying about them not having who they didn't have to play. And I
But you
can't
can.
totally dismiss that point, but the fact that you made sure that you didn't mention anything about any of the defenses that they played on those same teams shows that you weren't really you weren't really trying to be what you were supposed to be and trying to make that point.
And see, here's the part that doesn't. The other part that makes it bad when a person says that, the other part that makes it bad is the fact that okay, you're comparing them to the Bills, the Chiefs. Who else did he mention? The Ravens.
Yeah,
Okay. The Bills and the Chiefs are the only two that were in the top 10. That Ravens defense was 24th.
right.
So you're comparing their role if they would have went through everybody that you were saying that they should have gone through would have been easier than what they went through in order to get there. Do your research, do your homework before you get out there. And I don't blame him. I blame his producers because your producers are the ones that's going to do the stat lookups and check-ins for you before you go out there and make a fool of yourself. And they left you hanging
Yeah,
out there to dry.
yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah, but
can make, you can do your own.
I can't give him a total pass because
No,
he
not a total
it,
pass, but I'll blame his producers too, because your producers is going. That's the first thing. Was if somebody was to call and refute him on those phone calls with that, they would turn around and sit up there and say, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on. If he's doing this, but did you see that this was ranked number one? They was ranked number three. They was ranked number five. I didn't know that." And he's gonna look over the microphone as producer, like, "Did you know that? Why didn't I know that?" It was like
right.
goofy. It's just ugh.
Right. And that's why I wanna that's why I really I'm gonna have that's why I'm really I gotta work on how I've always talked about I kind of stay away from my competitive side, but um I'm kind of feeling like that's part of what that's another one of those things that's quote unquote holding me back. So I think it might be time to unleash it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like I said, it's time to get this thing going. But uh let's see, where was the other oh, and they've been trolling your boy. They've been trolling Jerry because of Lawrence.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And just like somebody did the same thing about Cup.
About Cup
About Cup and
doing that to
Stephon
him.
Diggs.
Yep.
About and I said last week, I said it's gonna come up. You watch, it's gonna come up. But yeah, me and you kind of talked about this. I want to talk about it on the show because there was one point that I wanted to make about it that we didn't talk about before the show started. And this is Games with Names podcast with my boy Edelman, my guy that I forever owe apologies to because for the longest time when he was not very consistent, I wanted him traded because I kept seeing every other inconsistent wide receiver traded, but yet Edelman kept staying on the team. And I'm like, why is he still there, but everybody else that's not consistent is getting kicked out of New England? And then I found out that he used to be a quarterback, and him and Tom had a real special relationship, and Tom was the reason why he was still there. And I was like, oh, Tom, I need you to change your mind. And then he eventually worked it to where he gave me reasons why I was wrong. It's like, so, but yeah, this is his podcast and he had on Adam Pac-Man Jones, and they were talking about the infamous Bengals game that added the where Burfict hurt AB, and this is what was said.
Sure.
We was literally trying to kill AB though. I'll tell the truth. We was. Why are you guys trying to kill AB? It was just little antics he was doing, little that we just didn't agree with. All the shaking it, bro, we went with that, bro. Like we was real football players, and we had a bond in our locker room. Like, hey, bro, we don't want to see this. Day. Like, if you go across the middle, you're getting killed. Like, if run smack, I don't even, bro. Here's the ball. Good luck. That's just how we was. We was literally trying to kill AB though. I'll tell the truth. We was. Why are you guys?
So, what was what have I always been talking about what is the mentality of the players on your team? Now, don't get me wrong, their defense was a problem. Defensively, the Bengals defense was a problem,
It was a
but
problem, and
but
it was a
the
problem.
but it ended up being a problem unto itself And once again, the couch warrior wins. The couch warrior. Because I said Pac-Man wasn't gonna work. I said they needed to get rid of Perfect. And I owe Joey Porter an apology. I'm not completely saying that he still wasn't part of the reason why they lost that game. I j- and I did realize that the Bengals and Pac-Man and Burfict's attitudes was a part of why he played a part in that last little part. But they whole mentality as a whole hurt that team. So now I got to take a little bit of the responsibility away because even if Joey Porter hadn't done what he did, if anybody that was actually on the field had did what Joey Porter did, they still would have ended up in that situation because of their mentality.
Yeah, it's
And go ahead, my bad.
I don't even know.
And I'm sorry to bring up the Bengals and everything, but I just when I saw this,
No, no, no,
it was
no.
so I
It's
really needed to talk about it.
certain things. We are in the midst of. I'm trying to think of it the way I would be. Nah, fuck it. We
Yeah.
are in the midst of. We get we the curtain keeps on getting pulled back to things to where that should be left in the locker room. The conversations that should be left behind the scenes between the brotherhood and things like that. All for clicks and ratings. If you feel like you need to go out there and say something, and let's be real. Basically, confirm the fact of because Montez Burfict did literally put AB into CTE mode. So if you want to sit there and call it, you want to sit there and play it forward, all the issues that we've seen AB acting out now because of those issues, those brain injuries and everything else with it, they're part of the reason. So now you're sitting up here on a podcast after you've had numerous mental self control outbursts and issues,
Hmm.
talking about the mentality that you had because one player, y'all didn't like one other player's antics. Why do we need to know it? Why do we need to know that? Why do we need to know anything about taking the curtain back behind those early 2010 Cincinnati Bengal teams that are more known for your epic collapses than any of the antics that you're talking about?
Hmm.
Nobody really cared about the fact that yes, the hit against AB, you know the reason why we know about the hit against AB because it cost us the damn game. Not
Hmm.
because your hatred because AB. We could give a fuck less about your hatred for AB. We care about the fact that it took until another almost 10 years later for us to get our first playoff win in Super Bowl history. We care about the fact of your antics for what y'all felt like helped really cost Marvin Lewis his job eventually.
Hmm. And that was during the time that was during the time that speaking of offensive players that he didn't want, that I'm sure that there were some defensive players that he would have liked to have because they didn't encompass what he represented.
No, y'all wanted to be the bad boy version of the Baltimore Ravens.
And the only problem with that was that yes, Ray Lewis,
Was not
you
Vontez Burfict.
you could see he was he was controlled chaos. He was perfect, but he was
He was
controlled.
disciplined.
Yeah, well, yeah, discipline, controlled chaos. Yes, he got out there, and yeah, you seen him doing the antics, and but when you saw him play and the ball went hike, everything was controlled. You didn't see him twisting nobody's ankles. You didn't see him trying to let people in their antics or their words. I'm sure you remember it.
Hmm.
I know you remember that one interview where it was because Chad had called him out, and Chad had called him out, and I still will remember this because it was hilarious, and yet it was disciplined and it was calm. And it was calm, but I knew the Bengals was gonna be in trouble because of his answer, because it was too calm, and the words were too calculating, and they were put in a spot to where if you were gonna say that there was smoke, it was simply because you just wanted to say it. You wanted clickbait even back then, because he was like, man, I don't me and Chad friends. We I talk to him all the time. We cool. Him coming at me like that is like one of my kids coming at me like that. I don't pay it no attention. He a cool dude, and I respect his talent, and we'll see him on Sunday. And they lost that game. And
Hmm.
they lost that game. So that's why I said, like even in his words, he was controlled chaos. It was like you knew, if you being around that type of person, that it's like you know what they're capable of, but yet they words when they come out, they're like, he's saying that was way too calm of a reaction. Knowing what I know about him when I see him out on the field, that was very calm and unexpected. And like even in his tone, you didn't hear a hint of irritation or anything like that. Uh-oh. Are you okay?
Are you watching wrestling?
I am not.
Main event tonight.
Oh,
AJ versus CM Punk for the belt
oh, okay. Well,
out of
yeah,
nowhere.
because you know what, and I think Shinsuke messed up. Shinsuke messed up. I know you saw that, right?
Yeah, about him saying that AJ retiring at Royal Rumble. I don't know if he is, but if Gunther gets to retire both Cena and AJ Styles, they can never make Gunther a face again.
That's and he's never been.
He's been a tweener. He went tweener a little
Yeah,
bit, but
yeah,
he's never been full face. They can never make him full face ever.
yeah. And that was simply because of the fact that there were people that loved him as a they he wrestles. He wrestles, he puts on great wrestling matches. You cannot deny what Gunther is capable of on from a wrestling standpoint. He will get in and he's wrestling everybody. And and the matches are going to be great. The only match
Hmm.
that was not great was, whether people want to admit it or not, was that match he had with Cena. That match he had with Cena was horrible, because at the end of the day, Cena was done.
Hmm.
So other than that, you put him in there against any of his other matches that he has had, you cannot say that it was a horrible match. I watched him. I started watching that UK, and then they started bouncing around. I have no clue where they have the vault at now, so I can't go back and finish watching UK because I don't know where they have it at, because they keep bouncing around where they are. So meanwhile, TNA, they supposed to be broke, not as good as the WWE. Not only do they still have their app, they actually went up on the price of their app.
Hmm.
So,
Mm.
but anyway, um, yeah, but and this is and that's the reason why I'm able to gauge, um, that's the reason why I'm able to gauge things and have an idea, even though I haven't played on all of these levels. You watch the games, you listen to the people with the experience, you take all of that and you put that into your opinion. You got to be careful. Sometimes not having all the details can make you say something, and then once you get the rest of the details, then you're able to switch. Which, like Colin Cowherd has said, you get new information that forms a new opinion. Sometimes it's not now you switched up. Well, you made me realize that I didn't have all the details. And people do that in the workplace. People do that in relationships, at least the ones where accountability is okay, is a thing that's used by everybody involved. You do that which with dealing with your kids, as long as you are a correctly, um, as consistent as possible when it comes to uh, using accountability as a parent, uh, uh, as a parent. So, and it's so at the end of the day, it's important. But and this just puts like a further pock mark. To me, that right there put a further pock mark on his legacy.
Yeah.
So, which is just it's not good. And you know, I was trying to ride with him, and I was hoping that he was going to be able to turn his career around when he was in Dallas, and then Jerry had to get rid of him because he got in trouble for putting that hit out on whoever that was down in Atlanta, and Jerry was like, "Nope, got to go."
Yeah.
And that's how he, if I'm not mistaken, that's how he ended up with Cincinnati. So, you know,
It's just to a point now to where it's like I can't even I I'm okay with it. I like what they uh I like the game plan. I mean, I like everything that they're going with it. It's just that now some things, like I said, point blank period, some things just need to be left alone.
and I
Y'all don't need to.
and I can agree with that because of the fact that you're actually making it worse on like these teams that are revealing that, oh well, they sat me out because of certain reasons. It's like it's hard enough for them to operate and get things done. And now you're dredging up old stuff and pointing out that, which I get it, in some cases is to clear their name, which
But
that's on
but
the
it's
owners. If you did it, you did it. So some of it I understand. That one, that one doesn't make y'all, it didn't help the situation. It actually made the players look worse
mm-hmm.
that were involved in that situation. And that's where you have to be careful. Now, there are some people that don't worry about that, like Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson gonna tell whatever story he want. He ain't worried about what you think. Kenya
No,
Martin, same thing. Vernon,
yeah,
Vernon, Mr. Hilarious Maxwell. He
Maxwell.
ain't, he ain't
But your
worried.
reputation, but their reputations make it to where you trust that they being 100% with what they're saying.
And you know they
A lot of these
crazy,
people,
and
and
they
you
have no
already know
reason
that
to
they're a little
lie.
bit off.
Yeah,
Some
they're
of
not. Sorry.
some of this is just attention whoring. That's all it is. Do you have to have the attention on you? Does it have to be about that? If that's the case, then let us know. We'll make sure that that works because you'll get all the attention. And the crazy part about it is that he's on that podcast doing that because he got into it with Cameron and Mace on their podcast and they took him off of it because of the same antics, the same hot headedness that he had there. So it's not,
Yeah, and you
you're
got to
not making
be.
yourself.
I would be easy going at either one of them. I would seriously. I would be easy going at either
The
one of them.
whole argument, the whole argument was he was trying to say that Cam had not been through Ohio or wasn't as Ohio as he was. And I started laughing as soon as I heard it. Because people that know, and I ain't gonna go into details about what cuz got, but at the end of the day, the real is real. That dude that ran all through the city. He was running all through the city while I was in high school. He was
Yeah,
there's facts that's known about that. There's no reason why. There was two rappers that everybody loved the fact when they shouted them out on one of their songs, Master P and Cameron. See, what's the issue? But you gotta make it. You gotta make it some type of look at me. And the only time, realistically, and I hate to say it, the only time we really look at Pac-Man is when he's making a fool out of himself or he's getting arrested.
and there was that one chick that it was one of the only times that he got in trouble, and then he got exonerated because it just so happened that the white chick in the bar that came at him, she didn't realize that somebody behind her had a camera, had a
Hmm.
camera phone, and they recorded the whole thing. So he ended up getting exonerated because other than that, it was looking like, oh, there go Pac-Man again. that was that was how everything looked. And then the video came out, and they was like, oh, okay, so you was actually not in the wrong this time. She was just drunk and she was feeling herself. She was on one. Okay, got it. um you're exonerated this time. So all right, so who we got in the Super Bowl? I got
Seattle.
I'm so torn on this because I want to pick my boys. I really do. Oh, and the fact that it's a rematch, the fact that whoever won in the NFC, that was going to be a rematch of a previous Patriot game was that was not
Patriots Super
lost.
Bowl win.
Right.
Yeah, it, it's if I was Seattle, just for the sake of it, if I was Seattle, I would sign Marshawn Lynch for a 1 day contract for the Super Bowl.
I know you've seen that meme going around.
I saw that meme, but I would want him to be on the bench and celebrate with them as a member of them not getting robbed like that, like because everybody knows they should have ran the ball.
Yeah, and but at the same time, as much as I hate to say it, like I told you, I knew he was the reason. I was just wrong about the reason. If what was publicized is actually what happened, both reasons would be insane. Because whether
All reasons would be insane because
well,
at the end of
actually,
the
well,
day, the
actually,
whole thing.
my reason wouldn't be that insane because of the fact that that would be purely on Lynch, which technically both situations is on Lynch, but the other one. Okay, so y'all in a game against Arizona, y'all get down to the one. This is the actual story that is supposedly what happened. Supposedly they was playing Arizona. They got down to the one. Marshawn found out that they wasn't running the ball. He turns around, gives them the middle finger. So supposedly that's the reason why he didn't get the ball in that game. Now, my reasoning behind it was how he acts with the media.
At
My
the end
thinking.
of,
Now, how
and,
he
and
acts
I
with the medium, they wouldn't have left him alone for the rest of his life. If 2 years in a row, one you beat Peyton, the next you beat Brady, you got a problem with the media now. They're not gonna leave you alone. And so, if you got to pick, who 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 do I want to have to deal with the media? My media darling, Russ or Marshawn?
and and now,
And
okay,
and don't get me wrong, it was still a bad decision. And I can say that. And that would have cost my team. That would have cost my team. It was still a bad decision,
Mhm.
but I get it. Because what's the point of having this moment and then it's gonna get stolen away because the main person that did it don't like the media because he misses the days when he was in Buffalo and he was good, but they wasn't making the playoffs, so he didn't have to deal with the media in the playoffs.
And you want to know what's the sad part about that though?
What's up?
Here's the sad part about it. If you if you go back, if you was to take a time machine from from that day in that moment of what you're talking about there, and fast forward 11 years, the media darling is Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he became that as soon as he went to the
Right,
Raiders.
right. Because once he because after and I think him having to go that happening to him to where they took that moment away from him made him go like he was ready to go from Seattle after that fact. He went home and he went back to being himself because that's the player that was riding around on the golf cart at Cal having a good old time. And he's in there. And he was still doing that when he was with Seattle. It was just a simple fact of when they sat there because you had polar opposites. You had the quintessential choir boy in Russell Wilson, and you had the neighborhood thug that could run that runs over people in Marshawn. When you
Also
think
glad they
about the
changed his nickname
what from Beast Mode,
to Beast Mode.
yeah, but even when he stood up there, he started he when he's after he's turned it over to where he started being more media friendly with that, it made it to where you can't you can't put him and Russell Wilson in the same category marketability now. You can't. And so I think that if anything, if you're going to be that petty to where you hold back your best chance to win a Super Bowl to prove a point, look at what has happened to everybody was that petty in that moment ever since then. That karma has ate them alive. Carroll's never made it back. Russell has never had a season like that again. And everybody still, if you think about the main three besides the Legion of Boom, if you think about the main three that was back there with that in that midst of that whole thing, the only person that really anybody fuck with right now is Marshawn.
Yeah,
Russ,
because
they want Pete got fired after a year.
yeah,
Russ, pretty much everybody kind of wants to just go away.
which I feel is kind of unfair. It's like
It's kind of
I
unfair.
well, I could see if you don't identify and we talked about this. If you don't identify, if you two don't see eye to eye off his personality, now if he's being somehow being disrespectful, okay. But if your beef with him is you got a certain way that you are, he don't vibe with it. He has a certain way he is, and you don't vibe with it. To totally trash him and trash his career, and this is why we were talking about this whole thing with Mendoza and how he's coming off, because he's kind of coming off in that way. It's a straight laced way.
Yes,
He
yes,
is straight laced. Is not your. It's he's straight laced. He's praised the Lord, and he's about doing things the right way and being super disciplined. And if he has anything not good, then that means that the people around him, it's like a Jeffrey Epstein situation. And 9 times out of 10, unless somebody within that circle gets really pissed off at him with some power, you're never gonna find out about it.
hmm
Now, there's nothing wrong with being straight laced, and there shouldn't be,
no,
as long as you are not disrespecting people. And which is hard because a lot of people vibe like a Marshawn, you don't really have to do much to get them not to like you, other than them sensing that you don't vibe with how they are.
Yeah.
Now,
And
is that fair
yeah.
to like totally trash his entire career?
No,
No.
no, no.
And that's why I didn't that's what I didn't agree with. He got blamed for how he got kind of put on a pedestal, but that's not, and that's the reason why when it comes to my kids, that's why I try to make sure that they don't think that anybody has any preferential treatment, because I don't want them going back and forth and having an issue with each other because of it. And I believe that that's what happened in Seattle. And it not only trashed him, although it didn't help that when he went to Seattle, I mean, when he went to Denver and that whole thing with the separate locker room, that
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay, I could see you going at somebody like, because they literally act like they too good to be around you. Which, if he was giving off that vibe in Seattle, okay, I have to respect why they didn't like him. It's like, not only are you getting put on a pedestal, but then you act like you too good to be around us, which you should never do that. Even if you feel like, yeah, I don't, the way y'all carry yourself, I'm not gonna carry myself that way. I don't really vibe with it. You should still treat people with respect. Like I told you that one story about my one friend that was a drug dealer in school, and then I ended up living down on Elm Street, and I used to always walk to the Kroger store, and whenever I seen him, me and him would hang out and talk for a few minutes because I'm not above anybody. And me and him was always cool with each other. So when I seen him, I always check on him like, hey man, how you been? Blah, 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 blah. We sit, we talk about whatever. And then, once I see too many cop cars go by, I go, hey, all due respect, bro, I got the road. And he always understood. It's like, yeah, my face don't need to get familiar with nobody. I don't want nobody showing up to my door. So,
Hmm.
and he always understood that fact of it. Like, yeah, I'm not in this life. I don't want nobody mistakenly thinking I'm in this life, but I do want to see how you are. So, because we did used to go to school together, and we was cool in school together, even though we were different. I was in school purely focused on school. He was in school, wasn't he did what he did while he was there, while going through while going through classes or whatever. So, and even
Hmm.
if I seen him again today, I was still like, hey, what's up? Stop, give him a pound, we stand and talk. That is where people that don't live the life of other people, that's where they get in trouble. When you give them the vibe that you can't even rock with them to the point to where you can go, hey, how you doing? How's things going? Have a conversation. Nothing wrong with having a conversation. And it ain't saying you got to invite them to your house. You ain't got to say, hey, well, hey, let's go hang out somewhere or anything. I used to tell people all the time when I was doing Uber do Lyft, when they would be worried about the goings of downtown. Like, just make sure if they say hi, you say hi. Say hi, keep it going. If they want to stop and talk, have a little conversation with them. Don't give them don't give them a vibe that might upset them,
Right.
because they may not have been thinking about doing anything to you beforehand, but then if they get that vibe that you act like you too good to talk to them or say hi or whatever, then they might decide, okay, now I need to do something to you because now I'm mad, which is completely the wrong decision, but they're human. Humans gonna make wrong decisions.
Hmm.
So so with that, yeah, I gotta go with Seattle, even though I really want to go. My heart is with my Patriots. I'm gonna be wearing Patriots stuff, but my competitive side, I gotta go with Seattle, especially with the way, if they can't get to Darnold, that game might be ugly. So if they can't get to Darnold and they can't get any type of run game going, and they cannot get that ball out in less than 2 seconds, like Stafford was doing most of that game. And I also think some of the passes Stafford made that didn't make any sense. You got like 3rd and 8 and you threw it like 30, 40 yards
They
and
took,
overthrew it.
yeah, there was some calls to where you had to question it long term with that, but it's Seattle. This is Seattle's time. I think that Seattle for Darnold to be able to say he finally beat the Rams and he finally exercised the ghost. Once he does that, then Quintus it pretty much makes it to where it's a full reset. And I don't think it's funny that Darnold did not get a lot of publicity for being in the MVP race, but he should finish third
Mm,
because you have to think because the one stat that they said yesterday that shocked me and I didn't even really think about it. There's only two other players that has a 30-7 or better record in 2 years as a quarterback.
hmm
Brady and Mahomes. That's it. And between regular seasons and playoffs, the past 2 years, he's 30-7.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I have to agree with some people. Brady is an asshole because he came back and he stuck around to make sure that his name would get talked about well after he left.
Oh yeah,
Because at the time that he retired, if I'm not mistaken, touchdowns and yards, Breeze still was number one
had
over
it.
him.
Yeah,
And whatever was going on at home, we now know what was going on at home that made him come back, and it made him come back and do all that extra stuff he did. And it's like ain't no telling how long we gonna be because Patrick done already said he's not doing a Brady.
mm-mm.
So if he's not doing the Brady, the chances that he's gonna break any of the records, whether it be Super Bowl, whether it be whether it be Super Bowl, whether it be the touchdowns or the yards, which the yards I know he's not, because like he's got to get over 90 something thousand, and I'm sure he's over 30,000 by now, but he would need to stick around for about another what 15 years. Yeah, and he's already said he's not doing that. So the question is going to be who's going to be the next one, and I don't think that there's going to be a next one, quite frankly. It's especially with the way the league is going and the way the players and the way the teams are being coached and the swagger and the discipline, so many things, you know, the money that's being made, that players are more gonna be more concerned about making sure that they retire while they can still, you know, uh, while they still got their health. Do you believe that?
Ooh,
So so.
ooh,
But with that, we are gonna wrap up here.
ooh. Yeah, you're gonna have to watch wrestling.
Oh, I am. I'm about to cut it on. I'm about to cut it on as soon as we end. So,
The, there's going to be some. I think we might be getting something back. Also, that this darn, I will never do this over the phone again. Um, we're about to get back something that we never thought we would probably get back.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me jump up off of here. Let me see. Let me see what I can see.
All
Um.
right,
All right.
it's about
But
40 minutes into it.
all right. Gotcha. Well, Dante Suave, Mystah Jay. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed everything, and we'll see you guys next week.
Stay warm, everybody. Stay safe. Be careful. Obey the laws, and throw a snowball at an idiot. Just don't make sure it ain't Pac-Man. Later.